Hey everyone, my name's Matt. Welcome to Cobb Hill Farms. I hope everybody had a safe and enjoyable new year. I know I did. In today's video, we're gonna get back working on the grain feed system on an International 5100 grain drill. In between the craziness week of Christmas and New Year's, I came out here and worked and got the base of this grain hopper all cleaned up, warrior wheeled, primed and painted it, and now we got a nice clean surface for the grain to flow nicely down to each row unit. The actual shaft that drives the row units has a shiny new red coat of paint on it. I also cleaned up each one of these fluted roller assemblies. They had a bunch of dirt and rust debris build up in between each set of flutes. So I wanted to start off with a like new product. Same thing with these roller block off plates. That got the same treatment. Each row unit, on the other hand, I was able to clean those up inside nice. These are cast aluminum, so I opted not to paint these, but everything operates and is cleaned up. Each row unit had a secondary seed rate adjustment on it. So I took each one of these apart. You just pull this cotter pin out and this whole assembly comes right out. Cleaned that all up, made sure everything functioned properly. I made sure there was a proper amount of spring tension on this lever. I had one that was being held in place by a piece of wire. So I fixed that. So these all operate as they should. We're gonna start putting this whole assembly back together in the reverse order that it came apart. To do that, we gotta put this roller unit assembly inside the seed unit. This block off block can only be assembled one way for two reasons. It has this cut on this long, wide flute that has to go towards the fluted roller. The other thing, and IH made it pretty simple for you, it can only go together one way. The wear surfaces are two different diameters, so it physically won't go in far enough to be assembled correctly. So that's how the unit goes. First thing we gotta do is line up our long flute on the block off block with the long notch cut out in the seed row unit and slide that down in. Then from the other side, this side's pretty simple. You slide the fluted roller down and spline the flutes with the rotating ring that has mating splines down inside it. And that's all there is to it. Pretty simple. First, before we install the row unit, we gotta install our spring washer. Then we can line up the square and slide the row unit on. Then from the other side, we have a series of shims that get slid on. If there was any of these that weren't flat, I took a hammer to them and flattened them out. Install my new cotter pin. Check the end play of the roller unit and feels good to me. The row unit slides nice and freely all the way across from one end to the other. Looks good. Now we'll repeat this process 8 more times. And now we got to do the sprocket assembly for the grass seed drive unit. So we got to put these tabs inside here. See if we can't get all this mess installed on here. Oh yeah. Just like so. Should be good. Awesome. All right, before we go putting the seed row unit assembly back in it, I want to see about getting the square drive shaft assembly out. I want to make sure that the axle shaft is going to slide freely in and out of this. So let's see if this will pull out nice and easy. Perfect. The shaft sits in the grain drill in this orientation. In the center of the shaft, it's got a square cut drive. It's completely cut square through the length of the shaft. This end of it slides onto the square axle shaft for each row unit. On this end is the two sprockets. This sprocket would go and sit right up tight against the shaft housing that's still in the grain drill. These are the three cogs that the outer sprocket splines into. And when everything fits just right, let's see if I can get this lined up right. Right there's the pinhole. You drop a pin through, and minus the housing, this is how it sits on the grain drill. This is the 14-2 sprocket that does the driving for the row unit. All right, I ran this through the parts washer, got it all good and cleaned up, and want to just make sure that the inside square surface is nice and clean. So I'm going to run a round brush down through a square hole, and hopefully it'll clean it up nice. How's that look? Does it look good to you? Looks pretty good to me. Now let's see how it fits over the shaft. Feels pretty good. Feels like a little bit of room. I wouldn't say excessive amount of play. It's not a high-speed unit anyways. I like it. On this end of things, I do believe there's a grease fitting right here. So I at least want to make sure that this unit's going to take grease before I go putting it all back together. Now for the almighty question, will it take grease? Oh yeah, there she comes. Good, that makes life a little easier. Put the shaft back in. Give it a twist. Make sure everything feels good. I like it. I think lastly, before I go putting the row unit back up in it, I want to get this adjustment lever for the seed rate out of here. I want to free up the pivot, make sure it's good and clean. I can do that after the row unit is put back up in here, but I at least want to get the lever out of here before I put the row unit in so it doesn't get in my way. Alright, let's see if we can get this unit back up in here. Let's get another bolt on it just for good measure. I'm using all new hardware. I went to the hardware store and bought all new 5/16 by 1.25 inch bolts. Got new nuts, washers, the whole 9 yards. I'll go back through and put washers on these later. I just want something on here to hold it. My arms aren't long enough to do the job I need. I can't be in two places at once, so I enlisted a little bit of help here. Logan's gonna hold down on the head of this bolt over here for me, and I can go around the back side and try to put the nut on it. All right, you holding the bolt, bud? Yeah. All right. There we go. Now if I can get a nut started on it. Perfect. Hey, that worked out so well, I think we'll do 8 more. Now for the next one, we're gonna put washers on these ones.
You gotta go work with it.
Perfect. All right, did you go to the next one? Go to the next one. I was just checking things out, make sure it was straight. You got the bolt down in? Perfect. If you can do that from up there, then that makes it easier for me because I can't see nothing from over here. Got it? All right. Now I could probably push the row unit up. Yep. Get to a better angle where I can get on it. We get the washer on, now we got the nut on, and it's started. And last but not least for this front side. Whew, that was a lot of fun. Did you have fun, Logan? I know I had a lot of fun. All right, we got the front row of bolts in. Now we're gonna go through and install this back row of bolts, so we'll be able to tighten everything all up. Then Logan should be done with me for the day and he can go on with his day. He's probably gonna go ride a snowmobile if I was a betting man. I bet that's what he's gonna go do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm right. All right, we'll start with that next one. Now we gotta do the back bolt here for this drive sprocket bracket for the grass seat attachment. You got the bolt down through it?
You gotta move it right.
My right or your right?
The same right.
You're right, it is the same right, sorry.
No, actually left.
Am I close? All right, we gotta be careful here because this bolt might be too long. It looks like that bolt might interfere with the tooth on the drive sprocket. So I may have to find a shorter bolt to put in that one. Well, I don't have a shorter bolt, so I'm gonna make one. First thing I'll do is run a nut down on here so I got something to chase the threads with after I cut it. And we'll start there. Perfect. Let's see if I can get this started now. You holding it?
Yep.
That one's got such tight clearance between the head of the bolt that that one ain't gonna get a washer. Before we go tightening things down, I want to make sure that this whole unit spins freely so we can check it after each row unit, and that way if there's a problem we know what row unit's causing it. Alright, I think what we'll do is we'll start on the drive end, the row units closest to the drive end, and we'll do front and back, check everything, and just keep working our way away from the drive end until everything's tight. Sound like a good plan?
Sure.
Okay. You have the top end, I'll crawl around on the bottom side. Yep, when you're ready. A little more. Okay, go ahead. Alright, first one's tight. Spins nice and free. Okay. All right, all the row units are in and tight. It sure does look pretty down in there with new paint and all cleaned up nice. That's the way to do it right there. Now, does it spin nice and freely? Yes, it does. All right, thank you very much for your help. I appreciate it.
No problem.
If you want to go play and have fun and zoom around on the snowmobile, enjoy yourself. Just don't hurt yourself, please. All right, now for this little critter. We actually have two things that we got to free up on this. The first one is this lever to this mounting bracket, and then down in here there's a ball that's supposed to be free that's currently set up for the stud that's attached to the shaft that passes through it with a nut on it. To see how easy. Ooh, nice. This is double nutted here. So am I getting one or both? Well, it looks like I'm getting one nut, the top nut. Now we'll see about the bottom nut. And I figured there'd probably be a friction disc underneath here. Actually, it looks just kind of like a flat washer. Let's do a little cleaning here. Now these parts are cleaned up. Now it's time for the lever. spray some thrust on this ball here and see if we can get it to free up a little bit. Now we got the penetrating fluid worked down in there. We'll clean it up with some shop solve. Now I think I'll just coat the back side of this ball with a little bit of grease. I debated what to use on here, or even use nothing on here. And I decided to go with grease, figuring the grease would probably stay better than using some anise or something like that. And I figured better than leaving it dry so it doesn't rust up again. Oh, do I have room enough on here for 2 brand new nuts? Because the old nuts that came off of here were jam nuts. They're a little bit thinner than these ones, but I think I got plenty of room here for 2 nuts. I will just make sure these jam nuts are good and tight. Perfect. All right, I think we're ready to install the adjustment lever. First thing I want to do is try to slide the stud inside this pivot ball that we had to free up on the arm as we slide the lever up. I'm trying to do it all by feel. I can't really see what I'm doing, but there we go. Put a nut on that for now so we don't lose ground. And we got to get the carriage bolt that locks the lever in position once you set it to your desired seat rate. Get that back through the arm. Put the wing nut on that to hold it in place. And last but not least should be the mounting hardware for the bracket for this lever. All right, I guess this is a moment of truth. Is it going to work? Yes. Now the big question is, do I get just about the full range of travel? Which it looks like so. Sure moves a lot more than it did before. And the more I use it, the easier it's getting. So then once you get it set where you want it, tighten up your wing nut. So your rate can't change on you and drift. You're good to go. The main thing I got to do now is this exact procedure I did on this side, I got to do to the other side. So I've kind of decided that for the sake of time wanting to get it done and the redundancy of, you know, what I just did, I'm not going to film any of it. So we'll pick this project back up once we get into something new. I am going to keep working on that side, get it apart. But in the meantime, I'm going to work on this thing over my shoulder. That'll probably be the source of the next video, or maybe not, I don't know. But that's going to be the next project here in the shop we're going to get working on. I want to start on the exhaust, get that all fixed, get the exhaust leaks fixed. I want to get the charging system up and working, and a couple other little minor things that I want to address. Plus, I want to look into the repair I made last winter. I I want to pull the lower cover off and check that bolt, and just a peace of mind to make sure that there's nothing wrong with that. Everything's good to go, because I'd hate to have that failure again. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back to the video library. There's a playlist for the Farmall 460 torque converter, or not torque converter, torque amplifier and clutch PTO deal. Check that out. You'll understand what I'm talking about. So I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.